because Halloween's coming. And there's going to be a lot of different candy bars out there. And some people are going to get more Reese's peanut butter cups than others. And so, if you have all that candy, you should just be happy. Don't compare to other people. So I wanted to have a Dharma talk today about Halloween and Buddhism. So I'm waiting for my first slide. Okay, here it comes. Okay, good. So it's a very famous Buddhist holiday. It's called Boodha. Now, remember, you may not remember a long time ago, but I did a Dharma talk, and this is one of the mistakes most Americans make when they pronounce the name Buddha, right? It's really Buddha. But this is what happens when everybody says Buddha, it becomes a Halloween shirt. So I found this on the internet. I thought it was cute. So Linda and I are getting ready for the costume party. Our costumes are hidden away in a vault. I start freaking out in July about my Halloween costume. It's hard to find appropriate couples costumes on the internet. Most of them, nope. So I wanted to show you some of our greatest hits. This is Linda and I, is Franz and Helga. I'm not sure why we picked this, but it worked. I think I remember why. It was because of the sound of music. So I think it was because of the sound of music. And then this is Bert from Chimney Sweep from Mary Poppins. I was dancing, like I was tap dancing. So Linda and Emily helped me a lot. Emily's in theater, and she knows a lot of prop people. And she helped me make this chimney sweep. So she got me a pole, and she got me pipe cleaners. And I really thought that made the outfit. And I even have charcoal soot on my face. And then this is Linda and I. This is from Zootopia. I think I'm Nick Fox, and Linda is Judy Hopps. We make a good couple. And so I don't really think, I was thinking Linda was Wonder Woman, but she's Mrs. Captain America, I think. I got the big shield. I said, oh, come on, let me have the big shield. So Captain America is my favorite superhero with superpowers. But I think the reason I like him so much is I just like his outfit. I just think, I like him because of the clothes. I think he has the coolest costume. So I've always liked Captain America. I don't think, and then you see my abs, those six-pack right there. Do you see that? That's real. That's because I'm wearing Lycra, so you can't see it because I'm wearing a loose-fitting robe. I was wearing Lycra there. And then I haven't shared this with very many people, but this is my true identity. I'm Batman. So this is me at home, working on a Dharma talk, working on the online school. So this is how I look at home. But I don't wear this out in public because I don't want people to know. So Linda and I have good costumes coming. I wanted to give you hints, but whenever I give people hints, I always give it away. So I'm just going to stop now. So I tried to think of what would be a good scary costume in Japanese Buddhism. And Emily taught me some cool new effects in PowerPoint. So isn't that cool? So these are called gaki in Japan. They're also, I think in India and Tibet, they're called, and I'm probably not going to pronounce this right because I'm a Japanese Buddhist. I know how to say gaki. Preta. These are called preta. And in English, they're called hungry ghosts. So these are famous mythical characters. If you look at them, their stomachs distended because they're starving. They never get satisfied. They're always wanting and they're always hungry. And then it's kind of a cruel trick in life, but they have this really narrow neck. their neck is really thin. So like they can't eat much food because it won't go down. So it's kind of frustrating. They can chew it and they can taste it, but they never are satisfied and they can't really swallow it. And then I think they breathe fire. They're very scary. And I went on the internet because it's a family service. I tried to find the most appealing images of the gaki because some of them are really, really, really scary. And I didn't want to go overboard. So Japanese Buddhist legend tells about creatures called gaki, the hungry ghosts, which have big bellies and a thin throat and never can get enough of anything. And so this could happen on Halloween night, right? No matter how much candy you get, you always want more. In one popular image, the gaki sit on a table full of delicious food, but they have chopsticks that are way too long. So they're like 5 feet long, and when they grab the food with their chopstick, they can't bring it to their mouth because it's too long. So the food's there, they can pick it up with their chopsticks, but they can never eat it. So because they're so consumed with satisfying their own desires, they won't feed each other. And eventually, everybody's hungry. So, I mean, they could share. One person might be able to feed another, but they're so focused on getting what they want, they don't even think about alternatives. They just keep grabbing at the food and trying to get it into their mouth. And it's a bad strategy, right? Selfishness, that strategy fails, but they're so greedy, they become angry, and they become just fixated on taking care of themselves. So the hungry ghosts is part of a 6 levels of thinking, different ways of thinking. So the gaki represents a state of mind, a way of thinking. So whenever you don't get enough and you start to get angry, you fall into this hungry ghost realm. So whenever you're feeling that way, it's kind of describing a state of mind, a way of thinking. So are you ready for some more cool animations? Okay, ready? Wow. So my production quality is way up. So one of the realms is called the heavenly realm. And again, this isn't a place. It's like being Kim Kardashian or, the perfect day. Everything goes right. You don't have a care in the world. It's that feeling of just absolute bliss. And we do have these in life, but the problem is they don't last. So, maybe if you're if you're a movie star and you're really young and you have the hit movie out right now, everything's perfect, but it doesn't last. So it's that kind of feeling. So sometimes I feel like this, like when I get the perfect parking spot, right? I come into OCBC, everything just falls right. And you're like, it's just so fun. It's so great. And then the next one is the human realm. And this has to do with the way we think. So if you're very logical and rational, I'm like this. I'm a computer programmer. I love rules. I like to live by rules. And one reason why I started coming to Buddhism is I couldn't come up with enough rules because life is too complicated. So I tried living in this realm. I became a math major, a computer programmer. But again, logic and reason, it's good, but there's also other things in life, right? Intuition, connecting to others, art. So this is a realm maybe when you're very, very logical and very rational. And then the next one's called the fighting demons. This is where we get very angry and we lash out and we get in arguments. It's very hard right now, I've noticed, to not get into road rage on Beach Boulevard. Everybody's on their phone. Everybody's cutting each other off. I honked my horn the other day because a man almost hit me and he started screaming at me. And I kept going because I knew if there was a headline that said Buddhist minister beats up 80-year-old man at Costco. So I thought to myself, let's just move along. Don't get out of your car. Let it go. But I was in that fighting demon realm there for a minute, but I stopped and I thought about it and I was able to go to number 2 and think rationally and logically. And then there's an animal realm. And I wasn't sure what this meant, but this is the realm where you're very spontaneous and you do things without thinking about the consequences. So maybe I was dipping into the animal realm too. If you don't kind of think about the consequences of your actions and you do things at spur of the moment and you just do things quickly without thinking, this is kind of the animal realm. And my dog actually doesn't live in this realm. When I give him a treat, or her a treat, her name's Maddie. I've showed you Maddie's picture. I think when Linda gives her a treat, she just eats it. But when I give her a treat, she smells it for a long time, and she looks it over like it could be poison. And then she eats it. It really hurts my feelings. She's 10 years old, and she doesn't trust me. Like, I'll eat it, and then I'll give her one, and she smells it. And then this is the hungry ghosts, where the gaki live. And then if things get really bad and everything's going wrong and you're completely frustrated and upset, there's nobody to be angry at. There's no one to fight. You're just in a really depressing, frustrating place. This is the hell realm. And the idea in Buddhism is that we're kind of jumping from realm to realm throughout the day very quickly. Oftentimes we're not aware of it. So like at work, I told you when I get a nastygram, back when I was a programmer, my first response was to answer in kind. And then I decided, no, I'll move it to my trash folder. But then you wait an hour and you think of this great comeback. You take it out of your trash folder, right? And then you reply. So I move it to my trash and I empty my trash folder. So even if I want to do it again later, the email's gone. So that's a nice coping skill. So this is the image of the wheel of life. This is kind of the picture view, the visual explanation for these 6 realms. And they're around, there's a hub in the middle, and there's a thin layer on the outside, and there's 6 giant pieces of pie around the middle. And each one of those 6 is one of these realms. And so I like this. I found this on the internet. If you go counterclockwise from 12 o'clock, just in the same order, you have heaven realm, humans, hungry ghosts, hell, animals, and fighting demons. So I'm going to zoom in on the hungry ghost realm. So if you look in here real close, this is the piece of the pie where the hungry ghosts live. And you can see them in there with big bellies. There's fire everywhere. They're starving. It's not a good place. But one thing that's interesting, well, we're not going to talk about this today, but if you notice in the upper right-hand corner, there's a Buddha in every realm. So the good news is whatever realm you're in, the teachings are available to you. So this would be a good costume for Halloween, the gaki, if it wasn't too scary. And I wanted to show you a commercial I saw on TV. Now, I knew this was going to happen. I showed this to the Boy Scouts. They're like between 3rd and 5th grade or so at the Metta Padma class. And they're really smart. And they asked me lots of complicated questions. They tore apart the metaphor. But we're not going to do that. So this commercial reminded me a lot of the gaki. It's IHOP advertising all-you-can-eat pancakes. And they have these really super long forks so that you can eat them better. But that doesn't really help, right? You should have a shovel, right? You need a giant spatula or something. But they give you these super long forks, and I immediately thought of the gaki. You're not going to be able to get these pancakes in your mouth. The commercial is flawed from a very important Buddhist point of view.
Right now at IHOP, order any breakfast combo and we'll sweeten the deal with all-you-can-eat pancakes. So get out your all-you-can-eat silverware, because these pancakes aren't gonna all-you-can-eat themselves, because pancakes don't do that. Get IHOP's all-you-can-eat pancakes with any breakfast combo. Or just get the all-you-can-eat pancakes for $4.99. What else you got going on today?
So I'm like starving now. So those are all you can eat. That's all you can eat, fork and knife. And then the other thing I didn't realize about all the restaurants now, it says ACE or something like that. It's all you can eat. I didn't know that until just a little while ago. So whenever you see a restaurant with A-Y-C-E, I thought it was ACE or something. It's all you can eat. All you can eat. And I haven't told this story before, but I worked at a hot dog place at the Old Town Mall in Torrance. It was called the Ultimate Dog. And I got hired there. That was my first job. And I only got $2.25 an hour. This is back when minimum wage was really low. But they said, it's all you can eat. Like, you can eat whatever you want, and you get $2.25 an hour. So I wasn't that interested in the money, but the all-you-can-eat part was really good. And they had Orange Julius. So I would eat like 6 hot dogs a day and gallons of Orange Julius. And it was the best job I ever had. And then after 2 or 3 months, this is a true story. The boss came to me and he said that the profit margin was going down and they were trying to figure out where they were bleeding cash. And they finally figured out, they let me go. He said, for you, it's not all you can eat. You can eat all I can eat, but you can't eat all you can eat. And so I quit. I was out. I said, that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. So I found this video, and it's so good, we're going to watch it again. It's a animated film about the Gaki. Now, this is a metaphor. It didn't literally happen. So one thing the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts noticed is we're switching over from forks to spoons because we're going to be eating soup. Not that important to the story, but we're changing utensils. And then the soup is in the middle of this giant pit, and it's sitting on a stand, and each Gaki can reach out and barely get some soup in a spoon, but they can't bring it to their mouth. And then the kids are really smart. Well, they said, well, why don't they just slide the spoon back and just drink it? And then, why don't they just telescope it? So young kids are really smart. So I've been thinking about this a lot. And remember I told you always have a great comeback, like the next day? It's because they're so greedy. They're so greedy. They're not in the human realm, right? They're not thinking logically and rationally. They're obsessed on getting the soup into their spoon and getting it into their mouth. So that's my answer, and I'm just going to stick with it. So, we also were discussing why it was in black and white. Like maybe they were so greedy and so angry about the food. They were like down in the hell realm, right? So once they began to share and become selfless, it really helps everyone. So, when we're kind to other people, it helps everyone. So sometimes you'll hear people say, like, maybe I don't really want to pay higher property taxes because I don't have any kids in school. But you actually help yourself and your entire community by having a good school system. So, you can't really think about it that way. It's actually for the greater good, and it helps you as well. And so these Gaki figured that out, and I think they went up to the heavenly realm, and they're helping one another, and their life became very colorful and very meaningful. So I wanted to end with this last note. Bodhi Day is December 8th. When the Buddha realized awakening at 35. And then Hanamatsuri, April 8th, is when the Buddha was born. So this is an image of the Buddha's birth. And his birth story foreshadows his life. So his birth story, you have to kind of understanding it as kind of showing the arc of his life. during the first hours of his birth. But the important point I wanted to mention here is the Buddha is born, and babies, no babies do this, but it's a metaphor. It's foreshadowing his life. He's kind of like reborn, and he takes 7 steps. And so the meaning behind that is he's gone one step beyond 6 steps, beyond the 6 realms. So an enlightened person is able to transcend these 6 realms that we keep effortlessly transmigrating through during the day. And so one way you can do this is by being aware of your feelings, being aware of what's happening, and have a gap between your feelings and your actions. I have a friend that whenever she does something kind of inappropriate, she says, well, that's how I was feeling. And I validate her feelings. I can't say whether her feelings happened or not. I mean, if she says that's how she felt, then I take her at her word, and they're valid feelings, but you don't have to act on them. You don't have to trust them. You don't have to respond immediately to your feelings. You need to be aware of your feelings and then kind of balance that with an appropriate response. And that's how you transcend the 6 realms, is by taking this 7th step. And so, somebody asked Reverend Harada the other day, well, how do you do that? And he said, well, you practice, right? It's not a simple answer. You listen to the teachings, you chant, you become aware, you practice mindfulness. And this is how we accomplish this transcendence of these 6 realms, is through practice. So, have a happy Halloween. Try to be somewhat rational and logical when you go trick-or-treating. Don't be mad. Well, Linda's a dental hygienist, and a lot of times she gives out toothbrushes. And I'm always worried what the kids are thinking. A toothbrush? I wanted a Hershey bar. But, that protects your teeth so you can eat candy your whole life. So please join me in Gasho. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Naman Dabs. Naman.